Welcome back to In Focus Kentucky. The month of March is Women's History Month, and on today's show we have a panel of women in local politics here in Kentucky to discuss current issues. And we are back with our panel to talk about what inspired them to enter the world of politics. And we'll start with Councilwoman Angela Lee. What inspired you to want to seek public office?
So my two children, they'd gotten to the age where they were involved in school, and we've kind of have the American dream in my house, and I feel that need to be a servant leader, and it was time for me to give back to the community in even a greater way than just doing philanthropic work. And I wanted my children to see that we have to lead by example, and we have to show them and demonstrate that we have to get involved and lead on tough issues, and that there's a way to do that and keep things in balance with our home life, and there's a way to do it kind of all.
And Councilwoman Bledsoe, what about you? Who or what inspired you to get involved with political office?
I think politics feels dirty to me, but public service I'm far more comfortable with. And my grandfather was in World War II, long military vet. My dad was a preacher and felt very strongly about public service and loving the community. And so I was exposed to that, honestly, from birth. It's just part of what our family did. And so I just view it as an extension of really serving people and loving the community. And this is just one path that you can take to influence the conversation and influence the community.
Mayor Whalen, thoughts on your inspiration?
My inspiration? Some will say insanity runs in my family. My father was the mayor of Florence, and he served from 1961 until 1981. For 20 years he had a guiding hand and truly was a visionary. I look around and I saw all the things that he was involved in and all the things that came to be under his leadership. Not quite 20 years passed, and it was through discussions with some very strong female leaders. The mayor of Florence at the time was a very feisty lady who very much believed in me. And so her discussions with me, talking about my love of the community, my involvement, my lifelong residency there, and just having that passion for public service, led me to go ahead and file the paperwork. It did lead my father to ask me if I had lost my mind after serving in that capacity so many years. But it really is just a matter, as the other people have said, it's community and it's giving back and wanting to have a hand in what's going to happen where you live. I stayed. My son still lives there. My grandchildren still live there. What makes our community a place to come back to or to stay? So it's all about looking forward and trying to decide where I want my hand to touch and how I want to be remembered for the good things that are going on in our community. So public service is a huge thing.
And Mayor, sticking with you, for advice, talking advice now, and for young women who may see this program and learn different things that you have talked about, what type of advice would you give to them if they are interested in potentially seeking public office?
That no dream is too big, that if you aspire to do it, you'll find a way. I think it's important that they become involved in the community, that they are a Girl Scout, that they want to participate in community events or help set up parades or get involved with their school councils, things that expose them to working with people. But there's no dream too big for the young people in our community today. You can be what you want to be. And so I would just say to them, keep moving forward. Find somebody to mentor you. Get those questions answered. And at the end of it, develop a very thick skin and very broad shoulders, and you'll do fine.
Councilwoman Lee, thoughts?
So I would say, in addition to asking someone you look up to or aspire to be more like to help you, I think as leaders, we have to reach, next to us or behind us and say, come along and let me take you by the hand and show you the way as well. I think it's important for us to remember to do that, to encourage others to come along and try something that may not necessarily be a natural fit. The path from engineer to public servant was not a straight line, for sure. It took a lot of different turns and up and down hills, but here I am, and I'm making the best of the situation and trying to bring along and inspire that next generation to come with us.
All right. And then Councilwoman Bledsoe, what advice would you give to young people, but specifically young women who are interested in public office later in life?
It's never too early to start. You know, I started in high school volunteering and ran for student government, but you don't have to start that early. I mean, I'm the youngest person on council as a female and just turned 40 this year. And I look around and think our median age is much lower than that. And so I would encourage women not to wait, to get involved early, to start serving their community, find a board, a commission, find a group of people at an issue that you care about and start serving. And I think once you start serving your community, it naturally moves to getting involved in other issues and other progression. And that's the best way to engage.
And what we'll do with the last few moments of our show, we'll ask you a question and see if you can give me a one-word response to that question. We'll start with you, Councilmember Bledsoe. In one word, how would your colleagues describe you?
I asked because I wasn't quite sure. But I think usually people describe me as being very balanced.
Councilmember Leet, one word.
Inspirational.
And Mayor Whalen.
And I also ask. And the word that came back to me was principled.
Principled. It's great one-word responses from you all. And then next one, we'll start with you once again, Mayor Whalen. In one word, your leadership style on the job, what would you say?
Fair.
Councilwoman Leet.
Transformational.
Collaborative.
Collaborative. Interesting. Nice word choices. And then the last one, since you all are married, in one word, leadership style at home. What would your husband say is your leadership style? And we'll start with Councilwoman Bledsoe.
Oh, that is a good question. I hope they would say collaborative and team-oriented.
Perfect. What about you?
I'm going to be slightly, probably more realistic, task manager.
That's great. I like that. And what about you, Mayor Whalen?
Probably determined.
Determined. Perfect. Well, once again, we appreciate all three of you all making time to join us on In Focus Kentucky to talk about a lot of the very important issues that are being discussed throughout the country, but also here in our state of Kentucky. So once again, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching In Focus Kentucky. You can watch this or any of our past shows online at SpectrumInFocus.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Mario Anderson TV to keep up with updates about this show. Have a great week.